This is Bobo Bay, a new pet raising game that is heavily inspired by the Chow Garden. It just released today on Steam, and I myself have about 12 hours of playtime already. Now, it isn't a ton of playtime, but I have experienced a large chunk of what the game has to offer, and want to share with you what I've experienced so far in Bobo Bay. Most of your time in this game is spent raising Bobo, these cute little creatures here. They have stats similar to Chow and can also compete in races and brawl just like them too. You can give them accessories, have them breed with each other, bet on their races even, and interact with them in many other ways. You can unlock toys for them to play with and even extra gardens eventually too. This game has a cell phone that you can pull up that gives you all kinds of info on how to raise them and also shows you all the various colors and traits of Bobo that you have collected so far. These traits are unique characteristics that each Bobo has. So far, I've gotten about 15 Bobo, and pretty much all of them have unique traits that make them stand out from each other. One of my favorite ones was actually given by an item. My Bobo Peanut Butter has the sticky hand trait, which allows him to occasionally use a sticky hand to pull back other Bobo in races or grab them during fights. This is the only item trait I have found so far, but it seems like there are a bunch of others, so I'm very curious to see what they all are like. I got the sticky hand item by finding it on a jet ski expedition. You can go on these expeditions once a day and look for loot and items to give to your Bobo. The jet ski adds a fun side activity to do alongside the Bobo raising, as it is quite fun to drive around and explore. Each day when you start a new expedition, you'll load into a new area of the ocean that is randomly generated each time. This means you can encounter different things each day, such as parkour challenges, loot islands, and shipping containers. I'm pretty sure there are other things to find too, but I have yet to encounter them. I really hope there are a lot of different challenges or obstacles to encounter, like this parkour tower. I've only found one so far, but it rewarded me with a new Bobo once I got to the top, which was a solid reward considering how hard it is to actually get to the top. I think the jet ski adds a lot of variety to the game and keeps me wanting to come back and start a new day so that I can explore my jet ski and potentially find more interesting loot or accessories for my Bobo. So far, I haven't really found too much on my jet ski, but I'm hoping that this is just because of my low playtime and not that there is actually a low amount of items or challenges to be found. On that note, I keep saying low playtime, but I do have 12 hours of Bobo raising actually done. And despite that, honestly, I don't have too terribly much to show for it. Part of that is because the game does start off a bit slow. You mostly earn money in stat raising fruits by competing in races and winning them. This is a bit tricky when you're first starting out as you have no money and no fruits off the bat, making it really hard to actually win anything. Now, I did see in some update notes that the early races were made a bit easier, so your experience may be different than mine, but it did take me probably about 6 to 7 hours before my Bobo could somewhat consistently win some of the lower level races and get me some money to actually buy stuff. This game has public works projects for you to work towards and save up for. These add different things to your game, ranging from basketball hoops to jet ski upgrades and even secret gardens. So far, I haven't been able to save up for much, but the fact that these exist give me a reason to keep playing and try to save up for them. I personally am really curious what the secret garden is, and there are also a bunch of these like blocked out things that I've yet to unlock, so I got no idea what those are, but I imagine they must be pretty cool. Alright, so now that you know some basic info on the game, here's my opinion on Bobo Bay so far. And be aware that I am playing the initial release. I know the creator has plans to add more over time, so if you're watching this way in the future, then the game might be different than what you see here. Overall, I am really enjoying Bobo Bay. I think it is easily one of the best Chow Garden inspired games that I've played so far, as it has many details and features that often get missed in games like this. I personally really enjoy the jet skiing sections and think they add a ton to the game. I just really hope there are lots of things to see on the jet ski. I want it to have enough depth that you can still be finding new things after like 50 hours of playtime, but I can't confirm it has that depth at this point as I haven't played it long enough. That is just what I'm hoping for. But so far there does seem to be an adequate amount of things to find and encounter from what I can tell. I think the Bobo themselves are very cute and likable and have a good amount of depth and variety to them. The bay itself does feel much more lively once you have a bunch of them, but for some reason I've noticed that a lot of them kind of just stand around without really doing anything, while only my main 2 or 3 Bobo that I raise a lot are really active. For example, I'm pretty sure Broccoli has been standing in this one spot for like 10 days. I also taught him how to sing at the camp, and I don't think he has sung once since they became an adult Bobo. Now these both could be bugs, as I do remember each individual Bobo doing more when I had less in here, but I'm not really too sure. I also could just be missing something. I don't know. I have encountered a handful of bugs in my limited playing time so far, so be aware that this game will likely have some glitches if you are playing it near launch. I know the developers planned for the first 2 weeks post-launch to be entirely dedicated to bug fixes, so I imagine any major bugs will be dealt with swiftly, but just be aware that you still might see some. Honestly, some of them are kind of fun. Like this one here where you can see my Bobo phasing in and out of existence. The developer has been really receptive to feedback from players and is actively taking bug reports on their Discord servers, so make sure to check there if you encounter anything major so they can fix it. Another thing that I should mention is that I really respect the developer for adding many features that fans have requested. One thing I requested in my video I made on Bobo Bay almost 2 years ago was a Bobo sharing feature where you could use a code to easily import your friend's Bobo, like in other pet sim games such as Wobble Dogs. This wasn't in the game at the time, but the developer went ahead and added this exact feature. You have to unlock it at the public works, but using it you can import your friend's Bobos just by getting the code for their Bobo from their game and adding it into your game. If you end up playing this and want to add my Bobo, Bhoa Bhoa, then you can do so using the code on screen right now. Okay, that's a pretty massive code. I've put it in the description so you can copy and paste it. Bobo Bay does have a lot of things going for it, but I do have some small suggestions or things that I would like to see improved. First, I gotta be honest, the dialogue in the game is a bit awkward at points. I'm not really sure if that's the intention or not, but I don't feel a particular connection to anyone in the Bay. Parfait's the main character, and she seems cool, but the two other characters she talks to both have awkward dialogue and have not really contributed much to my overall experience. It's nice that they exist so we aren't totally alone, but I don't particularly care for the mayor or Pepper. Another minor thing is the race difficulty system. It seems kinda unnecessarily confusing. The game does have extra information about it in the cell phone, which I do appreciate, but I honestly still don't fully understand the sagas and how they work. I think they are supposed to be races you do in sequence, but I beat the first one and for some reason can't do the second level of the race. I also tried entering a certain Bobo in it to be told their grade was too high, even though they were D-grade Bobo. Not sure if that's bugged, or I'm just possibly misunderstanding it, or what, but I do think the whole race system is a bit more complicated than it probably needs to be. Or at least it could be explained slightly better in-game. One thing I would like to see added is some kind of tube that you could tow behind your jet ski to bring your Bobo along with you for the jet ski expeditions. It's possible this is in the game and I just haven't unlocked it yet, but I haven't seen anything like that in the promo of the game, and I think something like that would be shown off. Adding something like that would be cool as there isn't a whole lot to currently do with your Bobo outside the main garden area. You can bring them around the town and get them to follow you, but there isn't really anything for them to interact with from what I can tell, so bringing them on the jet ski would be pretty cool. Overall, I would say Bobo Bay does a great job at recreating the vibe of the Choa Garden and the gameplay style too. The jet ski mode and public works projects give you a reason to keep raising your Bobo and competing in the races. While many other pet sim games fail to give you a reason to keep playing after a few hours, Bobo Bay gives you lots to achieve and obtain while maintaining an interesting gameplay loop that doesn't get boring. I highly recommend checking this out if you're interested in a new pet sim game similar to Choa Garden. I might end up streaming this game more on my channel and possibly even make some videos for it, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. Thanks for checking out my video, and thank you to everyone who clicked the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. Make sure to check out Bobo Bay if this type of game interests you. I have it linked in the description below. Thank you to all of my channel members. Without you, I would not be able to stream or create content regularly. Thank you so much for all of your support. Hope you have a great rest of your day. See you.